Cattermole joins us. He served 2.5 years in prison for criminal damage and wrote a book called Her Majesty's Prisons, A Survival Guide. Alongside him is Stephen Gillan, who is the Secretary-General of the Prison Officers Association. Very good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Steve, the Prison Officers Association under a lot of pressure and also speaking very loudly at the moment. We've had evidence of drones in prisons, mobile phones being dropped into prisons, prisoners in charge of some prisons. So changes today. Are they going to change anything?
Well, I think it's the Secretary of State that's actually under a lot of pressure with everything that's going on in our prisons. And you're absolutely to highlight all the issues such as drones, violence, suicides, and so forth. I wish I could speak positively on the new bill that's coming in, but I've got to be honest, and I can't. Until,
so what's missing?
Well, what's missing is the very basics, and that is having prison officers been able to speak to prisoners on a daily basis. That is severely lacking. Prison officers, the numbers have been cut that short now, the very basics aren't getting done. If I was to tell you, you know, instead of doing all the fluffy stuff, if they got the basics right, at least then we've got a platform to move forward on.
It's a problem, though, that costs money.
Well, yes, absolutely. And this government have cut lots of money out the system, and now they're trying to stick a sticky plaster over a gaping wound. If I was to tell you prisoners can't even get the basics, such as a bar of soap, clean clothing, clean bedding, and it's a recipe for disaster. It really is.
Well, Carl, you've been in prison. You spent 2.5 years there for criminal damage, and you wrote this survival guide. What was your experience like?
I can only echo what everyone who's been behind the wall says, which is that there's too many drugs, there's not enough education available, there's not enough staff around on the wing to stop bad things from happening. It's just, you know, the stories, everyone who's been behind the wall says the same thing.
The point of prison for many people is to punish offenders. For the first time, this bill will enshrine in law that the key purpose of prison is to reform offenders. Is that something that you think can actually be put into practice in prisons?
I think that's a good change in direction. The sooner we start to humanise prisoners and realise that they can make a positive contribution to society once they're released, it's a good thing for all of us.
What would have helped you from that point of view when you were in prison?
I think that enough staff on the wing to answer my questions, education courses that meant that I had the skills when I was released. I think that, if the more you're kept busy, the less you get into drugs and the less you get into all the gang stuff.
It's staff and money that you're both calling for, isn't it?
100%.
In absolute, Suzanne. I mean, Carl has highlighted it there from his perspective of being an ex-prisoner. And you're absolutely right. Rehabilitation should be at the core of what we do. That's been the mission statement for the prison service for decades, to rehabilitate people, to help them lead law-abiding lives. At this moment in time, our prisons are in a mess. They're in a crisis. There's no other words to describe it. And until we get the basics right, we're never going to move forward.
Well, the Justice Secretary, Liz Truss, has said reforming Britain's prison system will take time and determination. There has been an opposition call to drastically cut prison numbers, but she's dismissed that as reckless. Both of you, thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome.